Oh my God. What is this? That is so much better. I'm trying to get into the mindset of just doing like 1% every day. 1% of tidying or organizing or work or something. And that 1% normally leads to 5 or 10%. Like today, I have a lot more decluttering to do in this room, but after 3 busy markets that I just had back to back, this room was a little neglected. So the spider web started forming and the kids' toys and goldfish on the ground started to get stepped on, and it needed a good mop and quick tidy. I'm really happy with that. And now we can start our day. If you're new here, my name is Amanda and I run a small business called Whimsy Pots where I make whimsical and nature-inspired ceramics. Today is July 1st, and in June I had 3 pretty busy markets and they were all back to back. So it was definitely a busy month, and I purposefully for July booked no markets. That way I could, 1, beat the heat, as there were no good indoor markets that I wanted to attend. And I also wanted to take a break, that way I could recover from June. 2 of the markets went really, really well. Exceeded my expectations, and they were just a really good time. One of them I've made the most at any market that I've attended, so hopefully those are out by now. Not all 3 might be out, but we'll see depending on my editing schedule when this video goes out in comparison to those 3 market videos. And then the last market I had in June was kind of a flop. We're not really sure why. Maybe it was the weather that ended up being perfectly clear, but we thought it was going to be worse, or maybe there were other things going on that day, and so there were just not many people to attend. But my husband attended with me on that one, so it was a good day nonetheless. After these markets ended a couple of weeks ago, and I think honestly even before that, I'm really struggling with getting into a workflow. This new like working from home, but also having my 2 kids and having to maintain like the house and all of our activities and editing for YouTube, and completely neglecting my online presence like my Instagram, trying to figure out when I'm going to film and like what the video is going to even be about. It's all, I don't know how to plan my day at all. It's just the working from home is like not coming naturally to me at all. Before I had my kids, I was in a job setting where I went to work, I did my job, and I came home and there was like a separation. But now that there's no separation of work and home, and sitting on the couch doing nothing and having to do dishes and laundry, and then all of the work that I'm trying to do, creating and growing Whimsy Pots, is just like a juggling act that I'm not doing well at. Is it my kids' busy schedule and them being so little that I have to still have eyes on them most of the time? Is it the first time being self-employed and I don't really know how to do that? Is it my suspected yet undiagnosed ADHD and my task paralysis and executive dysfunction, which I may or may not have, my lack of energy because I don't take any of my vitamins ever? I don't know. I'm pretty sure it's a combination of everything. But with this month off for July, I just want to make. I need to restock a lot of items. I would like to create new items, and I have to think about seasonal items as well. Because yes, as small businesses, we have to think about the fall in July, especially with something like ceramics that takes so long to get a completed product. But most importantly, why I need to just make right now is in August, from August 1st to the end of August, I am going to be in a retail store. There is a local place that showcases all of these small businesses, and you can rent month by month, and they have different types of tables and shelves and things like that. So I am renting for the whole month, like a 6-foot table, and I get to bring my displays, and I get to display it however I'd like and bring all my ceramics. So I obviously would like to bring as much as I can. That way I have the best opportunity in selling what I have. So there's a lot that I have to restock. My second market that I had in June, the one that I sold the most that I've ever sold before, completely wiped out so many things to the point of like stress of like, yay, I sold so many things, but oh my God, I don't have anything left. There's a lot of making that has to get done. And in an attempt to force myself into a workflow kind of thing, we're gonna make this video about 10 hours, 15 hours of making, something like that. And it's not gonna happen in one day or 2 days, but it's gonna be a compilation of multiple days. Hopefully, the less the better, which means that I was really productive, but we'll see, of throwing, trimming, underglazing, just getting as much made and into the first kiln as possible. I'm not good about doing this every day, but what has been working for me when I know I need to get something done the next day is the night before I will write out hour by hour what my day will look like. So some people use like Google Calendar or whatever. I've been using this hourly planner, and it starts at 6 a.m. and ends at 9 p.m., which is kind of like the perfect time for me. I would like to wake up around 6, which I'm not. I don't do that yet, except for this morning I did. And I would like to go to bed, like close up. I'm not doing anything after 9 o'clock. So for today example, I woke up at 6, coffee, vitamins, which I did not do. So maybe in a little bit I'll make another coffee and actually take my vitamins. Breakfast, I took a shower, I got dressed, I did my hair. Kids had swim class, then we went outside for 2 hours. Lunch, tidy. Laundry's in the laundry machine right now. Right now it is nap time. It is 1:45. Plan video and start filming. I did it. So I have the rest of the day planned as well, but that's just kind of how I've been helping myself in the slightest bit, is holding myself accountable for the next day. I already have tomorrow written out for the most part, and I know what I'm going to be doing or supposed to be doing from hour to hour. And if I don't get it done in that hour, then I've left gaps where I can squeeze something in later on. Otherwise, if I didn't do that, I would wake up today and probably not do anything until 10 o'clock and go, what should I do today? And think about that, contemplate that for an hour, and all of a sudden it's nap time and I've done absolutely nothing. So if you need any help with your daily plan, these hourly planners have been really helpful for me so far, as long as I take the initiative the day before to do it. That's the other part. So I wasn't going to plan any markets in August. I had none planned until last week. I heard about a really great market and I applied and I actually got in. So that is a pretty big market. I think it's going to be one of the bigger ones that I've attended. Maybe not the biggest though, so I'm not worried in that regard, but I am a little bit worried now because I, at the same time in the same day, have to keep stocked my my storefront kind of thing and do this full day market. And I bet I'm gonna have to take a couple trips to the thrift store in August to supplement some of my display pieces that will be on the table. But worst case, I will pick up some of my pottery from this store the day before, and then after the market, I can return it to the store for the next few days and not wipe out everything there. But if I need to supplement some things and put more things on my market booth table, I can do that from what's in the store. Okay, the first thing I want to do is come up with some ideas for things that we'll be making in this video. I probably won't touch all of these things, but this is just what I need in my mind to remember to make eventually, because I'm either out of stock or these are new designs or I just want more of them. Okay, so last night I wrote down jars, lots of jars, different types of jars, different shapes, different designs. I had 2 incense holders that were like these mushy boys holding a stick incense, and those sold at that one market. My 2 fairy houses sold. I've already made a couple of things this week already, which I won't count in the how many hours of making that I'll be doing, but I will show you those in a little bit. I'm working on new ocean themed designs. So I have molds of like coral and mermaid tail and different shells and things like that. New design of cottage mugs, ladybug designs, skull designs. I would love to try some like wall sconces or like flower holders for the wall. I haven't made any wall hanging things yet, except for my hanging planters. I'm out of berry bowls. I would like to also make new potion bottles that hang from either some sort of cordage or maybe like some chain that will clasp onto like a Renaissance belt. That is very niche, but I would like to play with that idea. I would like to make more straw cups because those always sell. My basket of mini jars, my magnets, lots and lots of desk friends because those will be, I anticipate, a bestseller at the store. I'm almost out of vases and I would like to make a new design of some sort of teacup and saucer. I have some ideas in mind. I should probably sketch some things out later on. First, I would definitely like to work on jars. I would like to work on, let's see, desk friends, obviously. I would like to do incense would be an easy thing to throw. And then maybe hanging potions. Oh, I'm gonna say desk friend and ghosts. Okay, no, this is not my wheel right now and I'm not throwing, but if I don't do this right now, I think I'm gonna freak out. I have very little organization in my house for like my finished pottery because I'm with my children all the time and doing things with them and I have to be upstairs, not in my studio. That means I bring most of my things up here when I'm underglazing or refining and adding details, and so there's always like a landing zone of like right here in my dining room. And right now the landing zone is kind of an absolute disaster. There's like an iron on it. First, I don't even know why I had an iron up here. But I bought these new shelves that look like this and I am dying to build it. I bought two, so it's gonna go kitty cornered here and then one underneath this mirror here. And that's where I will put my damp boxes for things that I'm like still working on that need to stay wet. If I have to like add a handle or details to it or whatever. And that's also where my greenware will go when it's ready for the first firing. It'll go right there. So probably like my underglazes and my tools that I use upstairs as well. That way things are intentional and purposeful and my house feels like comfortable to be in, and it just works, you know, I make my space work for me. So I'm gonna build at least one of the shelves. I think I'm gonna build the taller shelf right now. And I'm really, really excited. It's also not all going to get done today. That's completely an unrealistic idea, and I know that, so I'm not going to stress about that too much. Like we said, 1% every day. I'm excited to have my tablecloth back. This is literally 2 folding tables put together. That was so much easier than I thought it was going to be. I almost want to build the second one right now, but I think I'm getting ahead of myself, and that would mean that I'm leaving the rest of the declutter over here that I'm not going to show you. So I don't think I'm going to do that. I'm going to do my 1 to 10% for the day and call it that. That way I don't overexert myself from going and doing absolutely like very minimal work the past couple of weeks to like way too much in one day. So let's take a closer look at the new shelf. It fits perfectly in this little nook area, And the second one will go right here, and it's actually shorter. I think it's 4 tiers instead of 5, so it should line up with this and be right underneath the mirror, and it fits perfectly in between the mirror and that wall for the pantry. I've gotten these bins, which are 16-quart bins that fit perfectly going this way with some extra storage room here. If I wanted to, I guess I could pull it out so it could fit kind of like this, but I'm a little nervous to do that. I don't really want it farther out from the wall. It does come with anchors, so I could anchor it to the wall, so I'll talk to my husband to see if he wants to do that for, you know, our kids' sake. Not that it's not very strong at all, but I'm certainly sure they could hurt themselves or knock over all my pottery, but they're pretty well behaved when it comes to knowing not to bother my things. So these are going to be my new wet boxes, which will fit, you know, maybe 6 to 8 pieces or like 20 different desk friends, depending on the piece. And I got 4 for now just to see like how it would fit, but I think it's pretty good so far. I would love to show you my dried greenware that's ready to go to the kiln. And since I finish all my pieces up here, I would love a landing zone for them. And this dining room is often where I work, and I just kind of would keep the dried pieces like anywhere in this room. But now that I have like an intentional space, this is where I'll put it. So when I need to bring it to my community studio, I'll just load it all up into my big bin and bring it. And when I have my own kiln at home, it again will be all here, and I can just grab my bin of things and bring it over to the kiln area. So here's the first item. These are things I made last week and refined over a few days. Here is a butterfly booby mug. Here is a no travel mug and a honeybee travel mug. This one's kind of a new design. I imprinted these florals on, so I have like an imprinted and then like a 3D design. So we'll see how that goes. I do have some glazing ideas, but we'll see how that fires first. I have 2 new designs, or 2 of 1 new design. These like fairy cottage mugs. They're slightly different. This one's really cute with the fence, but they both are just like little cottages. And here's the first of the ocean design in a travel mug. This whole thing needs to be underglazed. I've got 2 regular booby mugs with piercings and an ocean theme in a mug version with a handle. An octopus came out really cool. My new fairy houses. These are all kind of new designs. They're just better. So it's like a bee house little cottage. And these are for incense holders or tea lights. This one's a little bit different. There's a hole at each top of them for an incense. And this one has a little sleepy cat. This might be my favorite new fairy house. It's all like roses on a vine with some roofing detail, a little door and some steps. This door is a little bit ajar. And yeah, I love that. Then I have the first ghosts of 2025. Very different design than my ghost last year, as are all of the desk friends. If you ever saw my desk friends from last year, completely different design, so much better. So I need a little bit of input on these ghosts and what you think of them, because they're so different and new, and I just, you know, I'm a little scared. That looks like a ghost, right? Like it's little leggy, not legs, but you know. And this one has a pumpkin. These will be underglazed white, of course. Here's another one. This will be a crow on the top, so I'll glaze it black. I've got some mushies, a floral flower head, and probably another crow, and one more flower mushy. I'm so happy with how this came out. This is going to be so beneficial to this room, and I think just to display them like in my house is just like literal artwork. When people are here, I'll have to tell them, you know, not to touch because this is such delicate greenware. But I just think it goes so well with the room. I'm really glad we did this before I started making some more, because now I have my damp boxes and I can keep them here after I trim them. But tonight I will start that throwing the few things that we jotted down on my notebooks, and that will start the countdown for how many hours of throwing that will get done in the next week or two.
I can feel it. The breeze brings goosebumps to my skin. Tonight the whiskey feels stronger. Gasoline on hidden desires. So I'll throw
Good morning, it's the next day. It's not even morning time anymore. It's like just hitting 11 o'clock. I swear every time I start actually working, I feel like I've already done a whole day's worth of things. But we're starting the timer and most everything is about ready to start trimming. I'm gonna wire each of my pieces off of their bats in an attempt to not warp them and just trim and tidy them up a little bit. And then we'll get them in the wet boxes, put them upstairs on that new shelf. That way when I'm ready to, sometime this week, I can start to refine them and add different features depending on what the piece is. Which color would you like? Okay, a little Play-Doh break, and I went and grabbed those bins from upstairs. That way I could start putting them in here to act like a damp box. I've got 2 of these incense holder trays trimmed so far. Here you go. Okay, I finished up the incense holders. I'm going to let these dry in their own bin, and let's grab a new bin for the 4 jars that we have to trim up here. If you didn't know, the key to getting your lid for the one form jar to not crack in the inner lid as it's drying is to, after you throw it, you poke a hole with your needle tool right in the top, somewhere where you would put like a knob or something that can close up naturally on its own, or something that you can hide later on by adding a knob. And that'll allow enough airflow to come in and out of the jar so that it dries evenly. 2 of the 4 jars need to dry just a little bit more, but I can trim 2 of them. I think I need to order some new tools. Some of them are literally missing pieces, and some, like this trimming tool, is bent. I'm just going to wait a little while for the other 2 jars to get a little bit more leather hard before I trim them. Otherwise, I'll completely mess them up if they're too wet. I'm going to see if I can throw this real quick. This was one more jar that I tried to do last night that I messed up right before I was finished. And it's actually a good throwing consistency now that I let it sit overnight. So I'm going to try to get the air bubbles out of here by coning up and down a few times, and let's see if I can make one more jar. It's the next morning, and last night I trimmed up those last 2 jars, and this one that we made last night is the perfect consistency to trim it up. So let's get that done real quick, and then today I have a lot of editing to do for this market vlog that I have to finish up. So I really need to focus on that, but I'm also going to get a little bit of glazing done. I'm going to go to the community kiln and glaze up some pieces that have been bisqued already. So that'll give us a good hour and a half, maybe 2 hours of working time this week. So far, we're exactly at 3 hours of making already in just 2 days, which doesn't seem like a lot at all. It's like 3 hours of work in 2 days, but we're already getting so much done. So I'm pretty pleased with that. So let's get this guy trimmed up. Very nice.
Who told you that it was too late? When was it that you started leaning that way? 4 tires cut into the clay. It dries up and now there's just one road to take. It's growing up over with green. So easy to drive on, but not what it seems. The poison is spilling upstream, and it's taking out every living.
Now we've got both shelves here. We've got our shelf that I started to put all of the bone dry pieces on, with maybe some storage at the bottom. We'll see what that evolves to. And depending on what I'm working on at the time, maybe this will be where my damp boxes go. So far I've got those incense holders right there, and then my damp boxes with the jars. 5 jars and 6 incense holders that all need to be refined and have some details added to it. Work-wise, the rest of today, I need to bring some of these that are ready to go into the first kiln without being underglazed. I think about 4 pieces need to go, and then I'll get some glazing done there with things that have already been bisqued fired. And the rest of the day will be editing videos and maybe getting to some underglazing back at home later on today. So I will either see you tomorrow for some more throwing, or I will see you tonight for some underglazing, because today's main focus really is getting that video edited. And as long as I stay at a semi-steady pace for throwing, we'll be in a really good shape come August.
Who told you that you were no good? There's no use in trying, and even if you could, it wouldn't come out like it should. This stubborn kudzu just covers these words. Could you listen to somebody else? Will you only drink from the thoughts of yourself? Are you under the canopy spell? You dig in your heels and spread the disease. You're spreading the disease. Back up the drive a bit. Could you see what this is? This is a part of it all. Over and over, injustice to injury. This is a part of it all. Could you hike back to it, fight with it, sit with it? This is a part of it all. Ask around, be aware, make peace with what is there. This is a part of it all. Who told you that it was too late?
I'm back from the Pottery studio, the community one, and glazing went well. I have a couple of pieces that I picked up, some that are great. I have this dragon design that I'm just like not fully happy with. Like there's certain designs that I have that I'm like, oh yeah, maybe it'll evolve a little bit over time, but this is pretty much it. And this like dragon one, I'm just not like sold on it. I don't know if it's the shape of the dragon. I had put them on these jars, or if it's like, because I didn't really glaze them, I only like did it in like an iron oxide kind of way, where like I glazed and then wiped most of it off. I'm not really quite so sure. But I want like a dragon thing. I want a dragon product line. So I think I just need to keep playing with it. I'm gonna trim up. These are the potion bottles that'll be for like, I want to make these Renfaire bottles that I will add a chain around here, around this like lip, and then like a chain like claspy thing to hook onto your like Renfaire belt. And it'll be totally food safe, so it's not really big for water, but it's big enough for alcohol or whatever someone would use it for. So I threw these yesterday in such a way where the bottom is like an inch and a half thick. That way I could trim it like into a point at the bottom, hopefully. And then it will be fired upside down. I just won't glaze just the rim here. This is a chuck that is basically as bone dry as it could be. And that's kind of how I do my chucks.
You might be able to tell that after this day, my productivity level just started to decrease. I became really busy, and honestly, I just kept forgetting to fill out my schedule the day before, and I wasn't really prioritizing work anymore. My work started to lack a little bit.
Okay, that's kind of exactly what I was going for. I can tell it's like a little off center, but I think to like a typical person, they wouldn't notice. Oh my gosh. That's a cool way to make ornaments too. I actually kind of love it. That little detail on the bottom. Could add like some mushrooms and put the chain here, and then it'll just like hold on to your waist, like at the Renfaire, you know? Like it's like a little potion. And of course a cork right here. This is wicked exciting. I've been wanting to do this for a while, so. These are so cute. Let me know what you guys think. This is pretty awesome.
Although I may not have gotten as much done as I thought I would, or as much as I would have liked to, I'm still happy with what I did get done. There was a lot of glazing in between these clips and a lot of underglazing. And in this time, I actually joined 2 retail locations instead of just the one that I thought I would. So these two combined, plus the big one I have at the end of August, I might be short for some inventory. I'm a little nervous about that. I'm going to be doing a whole another video just about joining these two stores for the month of August. So you can check that out pretty soon and see how I'm doing over there.
This is my first Renfaire, and all of this is thrifted, my outfit. So I have a few layers on my skirts and this top, and I made this ceramic necklace, and I made this stone wired jewelry in a class with my best friend. So we are off. I have to grab a couple of things for my camera, my rings. I think I'm gonna bring my worry stones that I have to do any trading. And hopefully I won't give all of them away, but I did just make a whole bunch more the other day, so I'm not too worried, but I think that would be the perfect little trinket to bring. And we're gonna have such a good day. We're gonna take a break from making, so if you're into this kind of thing, this next segment will be about the Renfaire.
If you made it this far, thank you so much for watching. You are a real one. I'm happy with the work that I got done this week. I'm happy with my garden growing outside. And I'm so happy with this weather that we're having. Look at this stocked shelf, ready to go for market season. I'll see you all in the next one. Be sure to like and subscribe for more.